I still recall the way she walked through the front door that morning, radiant, as if she'd just come from a spa retreat or a weekend getaway at some peaceful sanctuary. The light hit her just right as she casually tossed her bag onto the entryway table, and her laughter echoed through the house. I stood there, coffee in hand, pretending to scroll through my phone, though my heart had dropped into the pit of my stomach. "Morning, babe," she chirped, planting a quick kiss on my cheek. Her lips lingered for just a second, soft but cold, like she was going through the motions instead of kissing the man she once vowed to love forever. "Morning," I replied, forcing a smile even though every part of me felt tight with tension. I wanted to confront her right then, demand answers, scream, make her admit what I already knew. But I didn't. Not yet. I needed her to realize it for herself. I needed her to see that there was no going back, that everything had changed. My name is Evan, and for 7 years, I was married to Maria. On the outside, we were the perfect couple, the kind people envied. We were the golden couple, college sweethearts, the pair everyone thought had it all. We built a life together. We laughed, traveled, dreamed of a future. I thought we were happy. I was happy. At least I had been, until a month ago. It started small, you know how it goes. She began coming home late from work more often, claiming deadlines, demanding clients, things that were always a bit too vague to ask questions about. She was glued to her phone, texting late into the night, turning the screen away whenever I tried to glance over. The excuses were endless, and every one of them weaker than the last. I didn't want to believe it, but suspicion is like termites gnawing at the wood, slowly chewing away until you can't ignore the hollow feeling in your gut. So I did what anyone in my position might do. I looked for proof. I wasn't proud of it. No one is when desperation drives you to do things you never thought you'd do. But I had to know. I had to see it for myself. And it didn't take long. A late-night text left on read, an unread email notification. And then, there it was. His name, Mark. A guy from her office, young, single, exactly the kind of predator who preys on bored, vulnerable married women. I followed the trail like breadcrumbs, late-night drinks, sudden overnight work trips. And then the undeniable proof, the security footage. The night before, I had discreetly installed a camera in the living room. It wasn't even about catching her in the act anymore. I already had all the evidence I needed. I wanted her to see it, to confront the ugly truth she'd been hiding so carefully behind lies. So when she left for her girls' night out, I connected my laptop to the TV, the one we always had on for background noise in the morning. The irony was almost suffocating. When she came home that morning, I knew. I knew that smile wasn't for me. It was for him. Her thoughts were still with him, still tangled in whatever web she'd spun for herself. My fingers gripped my coffee cup tighter, but I stayed silent. I wanted her to relax, to let her guard down, to believe she had gotten away with it. "You're up early," she said, kicking off her heels and tossing her jacket over the chair. "Couldn't sleep," I replied casually, though my heart was pounding in my chest. She flashed me that smile, the saccharine one she used to wear that used to make my heart race. But today, it made my stomach churn. She walked over to the couch, grabbed the remote, and flicked on the TV. I held my breath. At first, she didn't notice. Her eyes were glued to her phone as she lounged on the couch. But then the sound started. Her laughter. That laugh. She froze, her phone dropping into her lap as her gaze snapped to the screen. "What?" she whispered. Her voice trembled with confusion and dread. There on the TV was Maria, sitting at a dimly lit bar with Mark, her hand on his arm, smiling brighter than I'd seen her in months. The footage continued, pieced together from the camera I'd placed, the one she never noticed. They stumbled into the living room, kissing, undressing. My stomach twisted as the truth unfolded in front of her. Her face went ashen, her voice cracking as she turned toward me. "Evan, what is this?" "You tell me," I said, my voice unervingly calm, dangerously calm. She jumped up, trying to grab the remote, but I stopped her. "No, Maria," I said sharply with finality. "You wanted to smile your way through this? Then watch. Watch what you did to our marriage." Tears filled her eyes as she fell silent, trembling like a leaf caught in a storm. I can explain," she choked out, her voice barely audible as her tears streamed down her face. "Explain," I said, a bitter laugh escaping my lips. "You think there's an explanation for this?" I gestured to the screen. For bringing him into our home? The one we built together. She opened her mouth, but no words came. She was speechless, and in that moment, I saw her for who she truly was, a stranger to me. She crumbled onto the couch, sobbing into her hands, but I didn't feel sorry for her. Not anymore. That ship had sailed the moment she walked through that door, smiling as if she hadn't destroyed the life we'd built. I didn't yell. I didn't throw things. I didn't do what she probably expected. Instead, I handed her a manila envelope. Neatly folded. Prepared days ago. "What's this?" she whispered, trembling as she clutched it with shaking hands. "It's everything you're walking away with," I said coolly. Inside the envelope were the divorce papers, already signed by me. My lawyer had made sure everything was in order. The house, the savings, even her car, all under my name. Thanks to a very clear prenuptial agreement, she was entitled to nearly nothing. No, she stammered, flipping through the pages, her voice breaking. "Evan, you can't do this. You can't." But I stepped closer, my voice steady, ice cold. "Oh, but I can. And I will. You see, Maria, actions have consequences. You made a choice. You chose him over me. Over us." She collapsed onto the couch, sobbing uncontrollably. But I felt nothing. I had no sympathy left for her. The tears didn't matter. The guilt didn't matter. The apologies didn't matter. I moved out that afternoon. Packed my things the night before. Left her with nothing but empty hangers and the memories of a life she'd thrown away. As I left, I glanced back one last time. She was still on the couch, clutching the divorce papers, her face pale and streaked with tears. I could have said more. Could have cursed her name. Could have wished her the worst. But I didn't. Instead, I left her with one final sentence. "You don't deserve me, Maria. And you never did." The divorce went through smoothly, though she tried to fight it, of course. Pleading with me, sending tear-filled messages, saying she was sorry, that it was a mistake, that she still loved me and wanted to fix it. I never responded. Not once. She moved in with Mark eventually, that's what I heard anyway. But their relationship didn't last. It rarely does when it's built on lies and betrayal. As for me, I moved forward. I found peace. Real peace. A life free from her deception. People often ask if I regret anything. The answer is no. Because in that moment, when her face went pale and her lies came crashing down around her, I knew I had already won. And there's nothing more satisfying than that.